Well, hello everyone and welcome back to Ozra. Today we're doing a very special reading about something that's been getting on my nerves for some time. Keeps popping up in the realms and dark holes of the internet where I peruse. So today we're talking about dinosaur farts. Oh yeah. So, did dinosaurs fart themselves into extinction? It's a popular idea spread around certain areas of the internet and by certain groups of people who often say outright that it's taught in schools. But how valid is this theory, and where did it come from? Well, the short answers are it is not valid, and it's all from tabloid journalism. Although the overall concept of methane being produced by dinosaur digestion having an impact on the climate is theorized and quite probable, the idea they farted themselves to death is exaggerative fantasy spread by sensationalist headlines, the scientifically illiterate, and downright liars. So where does this all come from? Well, in the long distant year of 2012, a paper was published with the title "Could Methane Produced by Sauropod Dinosaurs Have Helped Drive Mesozoic Climate Warmth?" The paper first estimates the quantity and mass of one particular dinosaur, a sauropod commonly known as the Brontosaurus, then, taking a guess on the digestive system and processes of the beasts, based on present mammalian and reptilian species, and finally, using this estimated biomass and combining it with previous studies on animal emissions, they came out with a rough guess on the methane production of sauropods at this time. This estimate came to 520 million tons of methane per year. Much flatus. This figure is just shy of all modern emissions of methane, human and natural, so quite a lot. From this, the study concludes, our calculations suggest that sauropod dinosaurs could potentially have played a significant role in influencing climate through their methane emissions. Carefully and sensibly phrased, for sure. Furthermore, they go on to say, our simple proof-of-concept model suggests greenhouse warming by sauropod megaherbivores could have been significant in sustaining warm climates. The only mention of extinction in the entire paper is in regards to human colonization of the Americas, which obviously happened many millions of years later. Let's go back over those quotes. Firstly, our calculations suggest that sauropod dinosaurs could potentially have played a significant role in influencing climate through their methane emissions, and our simple proof-of-concept model suggests greenhouse warming by sauropod megaherbivores could have been significant in sustaining warm climates. One could summarize this by saying they acknowledge that a lot of estimation and assumption has been taken place in their calculations, that dinosaurs may have had an effect on their climate, that the effect was likely to sustain the warm climate known to exist about that time, and no comment on the death or extinction of the dinosaurs. Not to mention the natural evolution and propagation of the Brontosaurus took millions of years, which is plenty of time for the climate and all life on the planet to have adapted to that gradual increase in emissions. So, this leads on to the next major question. Where does the idea that, again in air quotes, dinosaurs farted themselves to death come from? Fox News. This is primarily the fault of Fox News. As far as my limited research has been able to find out, the misinterpretation of the scientific paper originates when Fox News ran the headline, "Dinosaurs gassed themselves into extinction, British scientists say." You'll note that this headline is not what the actual paper said. Although the Fox News website, which lists the article, dates it as published from 2015, there are an overabundance of more legitimate sources debunking the sensationalist headline claims and citing Fox directly, all from 2012, the same year as the scientific paper was published. The Fox News article itself is quite brief, but reiterates in 3 bullet points that British scientists are saying dinosaurs farted themselves to extinction, referring to the methane released as enough to warm the planet and hasten their own eventual demise. A conclusion which you'll note is rather far from the actual conclusion of the paper. And until now, an asteroid strike and volcanic activity around 65 million years ago had seemed the most likely cause of their extinction. Until now. This news article takes the conclusion of the original paper, with its typically scientific refrain of the study, the suggestion, and the potential, and exaggerates the conclusion to its most extreme, then declares it as solid fact, whilst casually placing the blame at the feet of those bloody limey British scientists who keep saying things. It is all a blatant clickbait headline, which deliberately misinterprets the actual study. And despite the various and plentiful other sources debunking Fox's headline and doing their best to stop the spread of the misinformation, this didn't stop the headline clickbait fairy tale from gaining traction and being repeated by influential people and papers the world over. Fox News themselves choosing to relist the article 3 years after they had initially released it, and having it so thoroughly debunked within those 3 years. Now, in 2022, the current modern age that we exist in this very moment, regardless of when you watch this, it is mostly being espoused by anti-evolution, anti-science, anti-climate change pundits looking to delegitimize scientific ideas. No serious person with a scientific understanding takes the idea seriously, but sadly, as Fox News knew 10 years ago, a catchy headline with exciting lies will get far more people reading and repeating what you say than an honest scientific paper that proposes a complex hypothesis. Well, that's about it for today. Thank you all for joining me on this little mission of learning. If you yourself ever hear anybody espouse that dinosaurs farted themselves into extinction, do take the time to remind them that they're talking utter nonsense. They should read more than the headline, and perhaps they should look into the science and not what the tabloids say. So thank you all for listening with me. Do the YouTube things, or those blasted things that YouTube likes, and tune in next time for whatever it is I choose to talk about then. Thank you very much. Take care.